What up? You already know what time it is. Welcome back to the season premiere, 1 Hour Talk with Mazee. I'm your host, Maserati Santana. Tonight, man, I got a special guest that's in the building. Y'all know him. He's the man behind The Real Side Chicks of Charlotte. He's the man behind First Day Out. He's one of the most important film directors in North Carolina all the way to Los Angeles, California. Tonight, man, I get the pleasure to interview my guy, Pitrelli, man, in the building. How you feeling, homie?
Good, man. What's going on with you?
Hey, man, relaxing, maintaining.
I heard that.
Yes, sir, man. How was your Thanksgiving?
Oh, it was cool, man. Ate too much food. You know how that go.
Everybody did. For sure, man. Before we get started with the interview, though, I want you to just elaborate to my audience, man. Who is Trelli, though?
Trelli, I'm a creative producer, director. I've been in the film business for about 10 years now. Initially, I had got started in the music business, but then I kind of got stagnant with that and fell out of love with it, and then I got into film. And The Side Chicks was like my first official project. And then from there, got into movies and shot some more shows, and the rest is history.
Absolutely. What kind of made you fall out of love with music, though?
Man, the politics. Music is, because I was Busta Rhymes' engineer. Like, I was in the industry. I produced Snooty Wild's Yayo. So I got some plaques, but it was just too much. And we was working for years, just nonstop grinding, producing these records. But you know how it go. Like, it's just like, in that business, it's all about politics and building a brand. And it for me, it was too overwhelming and too much. And I feel like with film, I can create something and just present it to the audience, and they can consume it. If they like it, they like it. If they don't, they don't. But I don't have to create a gimmick or build a brand or do any of that to, with film like you would with music. Because I'm just like, once I made the transition, we having a conversation with my team, and I'm just like, most people are at home at night scrolling on TV trying to find something to watch, but nobody's ever scrolling to try to find something to listen to. It's just all about word of mouth. It's like if so-and-so got a new record or somebody got a buzz, but with movies and TV and just film in general, you don't have to worry about none of that. It's just like, you submit it. If they like it, they like it. If not, you know what I mean? But it's no politics around it.
That part. Wow, so you was the man behind Yayo.
Yeah, me and my partner Figs.
That's crazy, man. R.I.P. Snooty Wild, man.
Yeah, Snooty was out here in Charlotte for a while working with us. Like, we had tons of records with him before he blew up. This was back in 2013.
So you originally from Charlotte?
No, I'm originally from New York, but I've been in Charlotte since 99, 98, 99.
Yeah. What you think about Max B coming home, man?
I think it's cool.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. So now that we kind of got warmed up, man, got out that out the way, let's just get right into your interview, man. Me personally, my personal question for you is, like, what was going through your mind when you wanted to create a show like the Real Side Chicks of Charlotte?
Well, it kind of happened by accident, honestly. At the time, I was still in the music business, and I was working with an artist, Mr. 704, and we were trying to come up with a concept for for his music video, because he recorded a song with Figs called Side Chick. J-Way Sosa did the hook, and we were just in the studio, and I came up with the idea for the music video being about a reality show about side chicks. And I created the promo for it, and when I put the promo out on social media, people started going crazy. They was like, yo, I want to audition. When can I watch it? And I'm like, this is just promo for a song. And then, like, a couple days later, I set up a casting call. A couple days after that, I set up a photo shoot. And then the rest is history. I designed the poster and put it out, and it went viral.
Yeah.
And that's how it all started. But in the beginning, I didn't really know what I was doing as far as like in the TV industry. I only knew music, so I was approaching it like I would music. I'm building a buzz and try to get a deal.
Right.
Now, looking back, I would have had already shot the show, had the product, and went in there and would have had the leverage. You know what I'm saying? Saying opposed to going in there with nothing and just hoping that somebody would cut the check. But I didn't know any better. It was just like all buzz.
So coming off of Mr. 704, he had the song Side Chick. Mm-hmm. You put the promo together, and then you decided that you wanted to create this reality TV show. But the thing is, like, you know, what did you want to expose about the side chicks? Like, what was you looking to put out there as far as like relationships with that?
I just wanted to show the other side, because for so many years, you know, we seen the housewives and we seen that side of it. And I felt like we never got to see the other side of, you know, what the lifestyle is like for a side chick. So that's partly why once we created the song and we really sat down and came up with the concept, it was like, yo, this is actually an interesting story. Let's put more into it. And we just started coming up with storylines. Of course, we'll pull from real situations and circumstances and try to, you know, make it fit within TV. We couldn't put everybody's business out there like we wanted to, but, you know, overall we came up with a good show. I was happy with it.
So knowing that you had this show going on, you knew you had to get messy.
Of course. With this show. The name alone was messy, so it had to be something crazy.
Right. Why did you choose Charlotte to kind of tell this story in Charlotte?
Because I'm here. I live in Charlotte, so I figured what better place, because Atlanta is like right up the street and everything's already going on in Atlanta. And I'm like, you know, Charlotte don't really get enough credit for anything. So I said, I want to be the one to really help push Charlotte in that direction in the entertainment space, because we didn't really have much at that time outside of Anthony Hamilton and Sunshine Anderson. This was way before the baby blew up and any of that. Of course, we all know S-Dub had his run early on, but nothing really like put Charlotte on like that. You know, like for the longest, a lot of people didn't even know Anthony Hamilton was from Charlotte because it wasn't a major promo point for him. It wasn't like that was part of his packaging. You know what I'm saying? It was more of he's a singer, blah, blah, blah. They didn't really emphasize on where he was from. Even though he had a song on where I'm from, people still didn't know that, like, that's Charlotte. You know what I mean? So I just wanted to put Charlotte on as much as I could and try to contribute. So I was like, yo, we're going to do Charlotte. There's no need to go anywhere else. And even after we did Charlotte, they was like, let's do Atlanta. I'm like, no. Atlanta's already got Atlanta. They don't need nothing from us. Let's focus on cities that don't have anything. So that's why I was like, okay, we could do Charlotte. We did LA. And I had other cities lined up. I wanted to do Dallas. I wanted to do like cities that nobody's been to yet. I wanted to do Phoenix. I wanted to do other places that, you know, because the typical spots was like Miami, New York, all of those spots, like the major cities. But I wanted to tap into those smaller markets, smaller towns that really didn't have a big look and try to, you know, put them on.
So when you came with the idea, obviously you and Mr. 704 was the only two that kind of knew about the idea, what y'all wanted to do. Was there anybody that was in your circle that was like, yo, this shit ain't gonna work? Like,
nah, at that point in time, it was really just me and him. And I was pretty much doing all of the creative stuff, like casting, picking the cast, coming up with the storylines. And he was like the man, he was providing the music and doing some of the funding early on. And at that time, he was still active with the music. So I was using the show it was like a two-sided thing. I was using the show to put Charlotte on, but also help with his music as well. So it was like, you know, trying to kill two birds with one stone. But the show just ended up being the biggest thing. People was like, okay, the music's cool, but what's up with this show? Like, they were focused on the show. So I was like, yo, we got to focus on the show.
So you had creative control when it came to the casting, right?
Yeah, I casted everybody. I handpicked everybody.
What kind of qualities was you looking for when you was casting some of these females?
Well, initially when we did the casting call, you know, we had some crazy questions. So I was just, you know, trying to figure out who was going to go
right
crazy on the show. So that was the initial phase. But after that, it was more so who has the look, who has the personality, and who's not afraid to really do what they need to do when they get in front of that camera. And you know, just because it's entertainment, you know what I'm saying? So once we got to that point, the casting calls got crazier. You know, these girls was coming out doing all kind of stuff. But for me, the main point was like finding girls who have a certain type of look and a certain type of personality. And most times when people do casting, they only try to go for girls who look like that are bad, dimes and up. You know what I mean? But I'm not like that. It's like you can be a 5 or even lower, but if that personality is there, that's what I focus on.
So as you know, I had a couple of your cast members that was already up here on the show.
Who else you had? I seen Storm. You had somebody
I had
else?
Storm. I had African Doll that was up here.
African Doll's crazy.
And I got plenty more that's coming. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because this is a good thing, and they feel like that, the show didn't get a lot of recognition that it's supposed to have got. I don't know what happened, but that's why I got you up here to kind of clear, a lot of that stuff up. But let's go back to the casting though. So do you remember who you cast first? That kind of like set the standards for the casting.
First, it wasn't really a first thing. So after I did the casting call, I went back to the office and I kind of just laid it all on the table and picked the entire cast. So it was like everybody kind of got that call at one time. It was, you know what I'm saying? It was like, it wasn't the one person got cast at first. I put all their pictures on the table and I went through everybody and I picked the entire cast and then I put them all in a group chat and sent out the message. But if it was one person out of the entire cast for season 1 who I kind of put a lot on, it would be Storm. Because Storm has more of the leader type of personality. So I always tell like, yo, you got to be the leader. When we go out here, when we do this media and do this press and these interviews, I'm relying on you. That's why when you see the Breakfast Club, she got the chair right there. So because she knows what's going on. So right. I was behind the camera, but I'm looking at her, cueing her. Because she knows how to control it. Right, well, some of the other girls can get a little shy and they don't really know what to say and they'll go off topic. She knows what to say, how to say it, and she can, hold the conversation and control it.
Yeah, and plus they was all fresh. They didn't.
Yeah, they didn't
really know what they was doing.
Know,
so it was fresh.
It was definitely fresh, but I mean, they did good.
So with you having that title though, like the real side chicks of Charlotte, how many could you say there was real side chicks? Because when you was doing the casting, was you looking for, okay, she's a side chick, we're going to bring her up here, or you had to kind of put them in that type of role?
Some of them, like from the audition tapes, we never released those, but some of them had some crazy stories about being side chicks with, some well-known athletes and other people, but we didn't incorporate them in the show because it would have got too messy. But I'd say out of the entire cast, majority of them were side chicks to someone other than Storm. Like Storm's whole storyline, she was in a relationship. She was never a side chick. But that goes to show you that people don't focus on the story. They focus on the name. They were so focused on the name of the show, they didn't even realize that Storm wasn't a side chick. She was dating a guy and in a full-blown relationship. There was nothing about her storyline that had anything to do with being on the side. But nobody noticed that.
That she said she was getting cheated on the whole entire time.
She was. He was cheating on her and had a side chick. And
wow.
She was dating Noah. You know Noah. So she was dating Noah and Noah had a side chick. But she was never a side chick.
That's crazy. So how did the other girls, how did they fit in as far as like not being side chicks and they had to play that role on the show?
I mean, they didn't mind it because, again, they all kind of already was going through that. Like we didn't use everybody's real situations because for personal reasons, but majority of them were already side chicks at some point. So it was like it was natural for them. They didn't really, you know what I'm saying? They was going with it.
Yeah. Do you feel like the show kind of empower women? Do you feel like, it was kind of fucking up personal relationships? I mean, because this show got messy. I seen the show. It got messy.
I don't feel like it was a show that was supposed to empower women. That's not what the show was about. Like you have a lot of those type of shows, and if that's the type of content you want to consume, then go ahead. But this show was simply for entertainment and to show to put a light on those type of women who are in that lifestyle, so other women like them could relate to it. You know what I'm saying? So it was just about telling their story, and it was entertaining.
Right. So I know you said that Storm was kind of like, she had leader qualities, in season 1. But is there anybody else that you felt like that kind of carried season 1? That was like, a fan favorite, people knew?
Yeah, it was definitely Storm, Lynette. Lynette was another one. Lynette was like the runner-up with Storm, them two together. And then I would say probably Tiffany, because Tiffany was older than everyone else, and she kind of helped out a lot too.
But she ended up leaving the show.
Yeah, she did. She left. No, she didn't. She didn't leave the show. She was on season 2.
Tiffany was on season 2?
Mm-hmm. You don't remember season 2? She brought her homegirl on with her season 2. She was on there because she was dating the club owner, Mike.
I must have missed that.
Yeah, you gotta check it out.
I must have missed that. Because I kind of feel like, as I'm talking to some of the cast members, they were saying they was getting a lot of backlash, especially about the name, the Real Side Chicks. And, they not a side chick, but you on the show. So you already know what you signing up for being on the show. So that's why I asked you, like, do you think it was kind of fucking up like real live, relationships and what they had going on off the camera, and then try to come back on the camera and try to be a side chick?
Nah, well, Lynette didn't come back to season 2 because of a relationship. So she set that one out. But later it didn't work out. She hit me back like, yo, I want to be on the next season. But we never got around to doing it. But what I'll say is, I feel like when the show didn't work in their favor the way they wanted it to, then that's when everybody want to pull back and be like, I'm not a side chick. But if it would have worked out better for them in whatever way, like the show is a success to me, I see it, but in their own individual lives, whatever success they got from it or notoriety, maybe it wasn't enough. So I guess they feel like they took too much of a hit on their image for it not to be a super successful like they would have hoped it would have been for them. So that's
what was
why
they looking for? Like what? Like give me an example. Like what was they looking for?
Because I think they were looking for it to be how like that the Housewives are, like super big like that. But they don't understand is it had the potential, but the Housewives have a big machine behind them. So
yeah, you talking about budget and all.
Yeah, we talking about two different things, but this show did really good. You talking about millions of people watch this show all over the country. People know this show and they know some of the cast members. So it's like, I feel like once you're on the platform and you have this here, after this is out and you got, whatever little clout or fame from it, it's on you to go continue to build your brand. And most of the girls didn't do that. A lot of them just kind of fell back when they seen that the show was slowing down. And that was just season 1. And then I came back and we did season 2. And still the same thing. Nobody really got out there and just kind of built their brand outside of the show. It was just like, the show's not doing nothing, so neither am I. And I'm like, if you're trying to be in this business, you kind of got to keep it moving regardless of what the show's doing.
So none of them actually capitalized on this show? After the show was off, they didn't capitalize?
Not like they should have.
So you had Shadora on the show on season 1. She ended up slapping Storm's homegirl because of some type of money issue. Did they ever figure out who had the money?
That was actually season 2, but no, they never. I heard different stories. I don't know because I don't know who took the money, but they were saying Storm said Shador took it. Somebody else said one of the other girls took it. I don't know who took the money, but none of that was a part of the.
So that wasn't scripted, eh?
No.
How much of the show was real? Like now that it's off air, okay, like how much of it was real?
I'll tell you. So the way it works is, and this is a jewel for everybody who don't know about TV. Even your favorite shows, they're lightly scripted. They have to be, simply because, like even like the Housewives, Kardashians, whatever you watch, Love and Hip Hop. Certain things have to be scripted so we'll take ideas. Like, say, for instance, you get on the show. I sit down with you. I say, yo, tell me about your personal life, all the things you're comfortable with talking about. Whether you're dating 2 girls, you got a girlfriend, wife, whatever. You lay it all out, and we'll take this information and recreate actual scenarios, because we can't just turn cameras on and just walk into Starbucks. We have to call Starbucks in advance and get approval to film in Starbucks. So whenever you watch TV, understand that they just can't walk into a public place and just film. We need to know what we're filming, how much time we got to film in a location, and go and plan it and shoot it. So doesn't mean the story isn't real, right? The story is real, but we have to script it around what we've been given in the time frame that we have to shoot it. And that's just the outline, right? Once we get in there, shit always goes left. And that's when you see that's the real reaction, because people are not going to like each other. And a lot of times these girls don't like each other for real. And these altercations are really happening. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, we put you here, you know what the topic is, you know what you're supposed to talk about, and then that shit just goes left.
How many times did you have to step in to kind of control the narrative of
a lot
the drama?
Of times? The last time, so it started getting too messy for me personally. So that's when I brought in another woman to handle them. I was like, yo, I can't be dealing with all these women, because I was the only one dealing with. I had them in the group chat. I'm like dealing with all of these different women and all their problems and all of that stuff. And I said, this is too much. I need to back up and put somebody in here that can be a buffer between me and them, because it was getting too crazy. But I don't know if you remember season 1, because Storm was talking about it when we went to LA to do the press. We had an Airbnb out there, and a fight broke out between Shador and Tiffany. If you remember in season 1, when you see the cell phone footage, Ralph was recording it, and we put that in there when they were fighting. So if you look at that footage, I'm in the footage trying to break them up, and then Tiffany scratches the back of my neck because she was mad at me because I let them fight. Now, mind you, we've been filming. We weren't even out there filming the show. It was just like press, but we had cameras and everything. So we had went out to dinner, and her and Shador was just nonstop, just all day long. And I just got to the point I was tired of it. I was like, yo, matter of fact, y'all want to fight, just fight. Because Tiffany had spit on Shador when we was at the house, and Shador just lost it. And I think Tiffany was expecting me to step in and just not let them fight. But at that point, I was like, I'm done. I moved out the way and let them fight. And after the fight was over, you could see Tiffany grabbing the back of my neck and scratching the whole back of my neck, because she was upset that I let them fight. But I was just, at that point, I was like, I had enough. It was just too much. But
there was no security? You didn't have security?
No. We had security when we were out in the streets moving, but we weren't filming at the house. We were just there because we only went to LA to do press. We had press lined up that whole week. So the only time we had security is when they got in a Sprinter and we was out. But when we was at the house, ain't no security because we weren't filming. I didn't think that it was gonna be like that. I thought they was like, yo, there's no cameras. We chilling. This is really like a vacation for y'all. But
Philly, you got an Airbnb full of women. It's possible.
It's definitely possible. But I thought they was just gonna be having fun. You know, I thought they was gonna just chill, be relaxing, party. But no. It got crazy, but it was still good. It was good content because luckily Ralph was on live at the time and he got the whole thing on his phone. But because we wasn't filming at all, but we still got that footage and put it in the show.
Who do you feel like on season 1 they was kind of like really just chasing clout, they faking the drama, just try to get more screen time?
Faking the drama. I don't know. I don't think any of them were really doing that. I think everybody was kind of playing a role. And I don't think nobody was over the top trying to. It was all really, for the most part, authentic. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of that stuff you see was like real stuff. They were really not vibing, and whatever drama you saw was really going down like that. So I don't think nobody was really clout chasing. Everybody kind of played their position.
Absolutely. You took a lot of backlash, though, when season 1 ended and you had to recast for season 2. I heard they was mad with you that you brought a lot of other females in. They didn't have to audition. Kind of like walk me through that.
Well, I brought a couple new girls on only because a few of the older girls didn't want to come back for season 2. Like, Julissa didn't want to come back. She was done with it. Lynette didn't want to come back. She was in a relationship. And it was somebody else. I can't remember who. And then I just added like one extra person to stir it up. That we need a new face. But at that point, I felt like the show was already doing what it needs to do. I don't need to hold a public audition to cast anybody. I can pretty much just see somebody, have a conversation with them, and do my own little private audition and know whether or not they're going to be a good fit for the show. So I don't need, like, with these type of shows, I think they were looking at it like they're a group and a collective. Like, y'all are all individuals on a TV show. You don't get to control who gets casted on the show. You know what I'm saying? That's up to the people behind the scenes and whoever, and we'll decide like who's the best fit for the show, who has the best personality, and who can come in and really stir shit up and get everything, throw people off. So that's why I think Roxy was a good fit. Of course, African Dog came in and her personality's through the roof, so she added a lot to it. So I thought season 2 was good.
So who you think was really stirring some shit up that you knew, like, okay, they're gonna stir some shit up?
In season 2, it was definitely African Doll was on some shit. But it was hilarious though. African Doll and Libra was like the two for season 2 that really came in and was stirring some shit up.
Her and Storm couldn't get along.
No,
Storm and African Doll.
African Doll didn't really get along with nobody other than Roxy. Her and Roxy was tight, but everybody else, they was kind of just like, African Dog got a big personality, and she's just like, whatever.
And that's kind of what you was looking for.
Yeah, she wasn't coming in to be friends with nobody. She was coming in like her attitude to be the baddest bitch and try to really steal the spotlight. That was her whole goal. So it was like, I just let her do what she do.
Is it true that she was smacking bitches and fucking bitches up and flipping over tables and all of this type of stuff?
She didn't flip over. She shook a table. She didn't flip it over. She wasn't really smacking nobody. It was some altercations, but nothing crazy. Like, Shador was the main person that was really putting hands on people, but everybody else was, it was kind of like little catty fights that we broke up. Nobody really got hurt,
right?
But
thank God for that.
Yeah, I didn't want that. Like, this show was not that. Up until Now That's TV, you really didn't see people getting into brawls. Now That's TV and Zeus really brought that element to reality TV. I was on some, I want y'all to be catty, throw a drink, do that type of stuff, get in each other's face, argue, and we'll break it up. I don't want nobody to physically get hurt.
Yeah, just enough. So
just enough. I don't want that. And I stayed away from that for a reason, because when you get into this business now, especially now, these girls come in and they think that's what they have to do. So they coming in just to fight. And I'm like, no, you got to come in and talk, showcase your personality. This is not the UFC. We don't need fighting. We need you to look a certain way, act a certain way, and the drama's going to be there. But more so, I want people to buy into your personality, not the fighting. Anybody can fight. It's like, that's not the type of TV that I wanted to do. I wanted mine's to mirror like how the Housewives is, or Love and Hip Hop, like high quality, ratchet, but not, nobody getting no black eyes or teeth knocked out, none of that craziness.
When did you know the show was a hit?
The moment I released the poster, it was over. The poster, because we did the photo shoot and the fight broke out at the photo shoot with Strawberry and one of the other girls. She didn't make the casting, but Strawberry and her was fighting. It was footage that we put out. So the next day, JK sent me the link to the photos, and I created the cover. I put it out. I sent it to Baller Alert, a few blogs, paid them. They posted it, and then from there it was over. Like, I'm sitting by the phone. 704 was in the studio with me, and the shit just going off. We just keep getting ding ding, and I'm looking. I'm like, everybody's reposting it. Snoop Dogg reposted it. Then Rihanna reposted it. 50 Cent reposted it. Cardi B and all of these people.
Yeah.
And we just like, what the fuck going on? It's out of here. But what I noticed is the main thing people were like, when and where can I watch this? And I'm like, we ain't got that far yet because we still on some just trying to build the brand up and get a deal. And we got close to it, but nobody would touch it because of the name. And we didn't have nothing to show. We didn't have no teaser, no nothing. We hadn't shot anything. So we had some meetings. Like when we went to LA, we sat down with a few networks, and I think BET was like the last network, but those networks are full of women. So when you go into these buildings and it's full of women who, they make decisions, and these women see this content, they're like, right? So BET was the last one that was like, they said no, but why don't you put it out and see what it does? And if it does well, you'll have the leverage and the numbers, the analytics to show for it, and then we can have a different conversation. So that's why we decided to put it out on YouTube. So we put it on YouTube, and it did like 5-6 million views. It had
that's crazy.
Like, I don't even remember. It was like 30 million hours watched or something crazy, some crazy number. And I took all of the numbers and I was like, we got a distribution deal later on and put it on Amazon and Tubi and all of that stuff early on. But it did really good numbers. And the feedback was like mixed, which I loved because I thought it was just gonna be hate. But it was down the middle. You know what I'm saying? Like the comments and the likes, people loved it. It was like either you hated it or you loved it. It wasn't like one-sided. You know what I'm saying? It was down the middle. And I loved that because it was like honest feedback and people really liked the show.
Yeah. How did you keep your composure around all these women, man?
Man, people from the outside looking in, I guess for some people it'd be like a dream come true. Be like, you around all these women? Like, but you have no idea the stress level it is for a man to be dealing with this many women. Women is like so many emotions, right? So dealing with that many women on a day-to-day basis, and you dealing with their personal problems, show problems, it was too much. So that's why I fell back and put somebody else in between us.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because I couldn't deal with it no more. The last thing for me was like when we went to the Breakfast Club, because some of the girls flew up and then the rest of us hopped in the Sprinter and drove up. And that ride, just from talking to them and getting them prepared for the interview and going over questions, I was like, man, I was like, yeah, I got to get somebody to manage y'all and kind of do what I'm already doing because I'm doing too much. I can't do everything, and it was becoming too much for me. So that's what made me kind of fall back and put somebody else in that position.
How much money y'all think how much money you think y'all spend on that? On the show?
I know exactly how much money we spent on it. Season 1, we probably spent, without not even talking about the, doing all the promo and the traveling stuff, just to shoot the show, we spent about, first season, about $40,000.
Yeah, and so like I know I was talking to Storm and I interviewed her, she was saying about like, I asked her, did they make any money? And she was like, nah, they didn't make any money, but the money that they did make, they had to put back into the project. Mm-hmm. And that's reasonable though, because you were spending a budget on 15 women.
We didn't make any money season 1. Like we spent 40 to shoot it, but we spent more money just with traveling to New York, traveling to LA. You talking about 10 flights for 10 girls, plus us and whoever else got to come with us. Same thing with New York. So it was with all the traveling and all the other expenses, we spent even more than that. I'm just saying, like, as far as the budget to shoot the show was about 40. You know what I'm saying?
40 grand.
So if just say we 60 in the hole for season 1, we didn't make none of that money back, and we still was like, all right, let's do season 2, just because we got the buzz. Now we got the distribution lined up. Let's shoot season 2 and do it again. And that's what we did. So we did the same thing. And we didn't have any money to pay nobody. We had enough money to shoot, pay for locations, stuff like that. And even when that came out, it still wasn't making any money, enough money to pay them. You know what I'm saying? It was just enough money to come back in and kind of recoup a little bit, but it wasn't really no money made on that. You know what I'm saying? It was just like a promo type of thing. If it would have got a situation, some kind of licensing deal, or if it would have got picked up by a bigger network, I think it would have definitely did better. But overall, it was a success. It just wasn't profitable. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Who was behind the petition, though? There was a petition that was signed to try to get the hair off.
Who did that? They didn't even work, though. There was so much hate going on. It could have been anybody. But I knew that wasn't going to work. Because it's like, they can't stop us from shooting a TV show or even anything like that. It's like, how would they even do that? You know what I mean? But I just let people do what they do. We just kind of keep doing our thing and not let it affect us too much. I wasn't worried about it at all, because it was like, that's just something somebody created to try to stop it. But the show had fans by that time, and people wanted to see it. They don't care about none of that. They just want to be entertained.
If you could go back and do it all over again with season 1, who would you not work with?
Would I not work with?
Tell it like it is, Pitrelli.
Season 1, who would I not work with? No, I don't think. I like the season 1 cast. Those are OGs. I ain't have a problem with nobody. Nah. Yeah, I ain't have a problem with nobody.
Season 2?
Season 2. I'm trying to think. Who was on season 2? Same girls, Roxy, African Doll, Libra. Tiny T was on season 2. Nah, I am. I don't be having no problems with the cast. We have our disagreements, but once I put somebody in between us, that was over, because I just got tired of. You know, the problem is when you building a brand for a TV show, is everybody feels like they're the reason for it. Mm-hmm. And that's what I was dealing with some of the cast members. They felt like they were the reason that the show was doing what it was doing. And I'm just trying to explain to them, like, y'all all play a role in the show. Like, you're important, right? Mm-hmm. But you're not the reason the show is taking off, because there's a lot of things that y'all don't see. And I had to explain that to them, like showing all these invoices from paying all these blogs to post this stuff. It wasn't like the repost from Snoop and all of them. Yes, that was organic. That was natural. But the initial, to get them to see it, costs a lot of money. And they didn't understand that part of the game. Like, marketing and promotion is a whole nother thing. So they just think, we just posted and everybody grabbed it. It's like, no, we had to make sure that this was visible, and we had to pay for that.
Exactly.
So once I started showing them that, it's like, I didn't know you did that. I'm like, that's the whole point. You're not supposed to know. You're just supposed to be a cast member that's a part of a show. That's your job. You don't need to know the ins and outs of the business and what we do behind the scene to make sure that this thing keeps moving forward.
Yeah, I don't know why people are like that. Even with the music business, like, you got to have marketing behind it. So I don't think it ain't a bad thing to have marketing behind what you got going on. That's fake. You got to pay for this. I mean, what you expect? Everybody does that. That's how it works. You wouldn't want to go eat McDonald's if you ain't see the commercial a million times. You ain't see billboards everywhere. That runs the world. Advertising runs the world. That's what everything is built on. So you can't promote a brand without spending money and putting it towards it. Like, that just comes with it. That's just a part of the game. So they didn't understand that. But when I showed it to them, it was like, okay, because we started having these conversations about who was most important on the show. And I was just like, nobody. They asked you that?
Few of them. And I kept it real. I'm like, no, none of y'all. Because it's not about you personally, but it's about the brand. I said, individually, y'all have your own fans, but if you leave the show won't stop.
They keep going.
Yeah, it's just like Love and Hip Hop and Housewives. When a certain cast member leaves the show, they always thought, I'm leaving the show. This show gonna be over, and it never happens, because it's not about you individually. It's about this show, the brand of the show. That's what lives on forever. The characters will always be interchanged. Even when it comes to sports, you can take LeBron from any team he played on. Doesn't mean that team is not going to continue to go and make money. It's about the brand. It's not the characters. They'll always be changed out. And it might be an adjustment for some of the viewers, right? But then they'll learn to love the new person, and then they'll forget that whoever wasn't on it. Oh, I totally forgot Nene wasn't on Housewives no more. It's been 10 years. You know what I'm saying? So it's like the show still goes on. It doesn't stop. And I was having those conversations with them and just trying to explain to them that not saying that you're not important, because you are.
But you are replaceable.
And not even saying that, because I don't even want to make you feel like I can replace you. But I'm saying if you leave the show's not going to stop, because it's just a brand. So when you get up out that seat, somebody will just fill the seat. It's no different than working a job. You lose your job or you quit, they're going to put somebody in that job the same day. You know what I'm saying? And business as usual. So they just needed to know that. Like, it's not personal. This is just the way it works.
What have you learned about doing this kind of show?
Side chicks? I don't think it's this kind of show. It's just reality TV in general when it comes to these types of shows, when it comes to housewives or side chicks or, anything that involves the lifestyle of women. The thing that I've learned the most is it can really drain you. And early on for me, I didn't have it down packed, so I didn't know the time limit as far as production on it. So when we shot season 1, we 30 days, right? Season 2, 30 days. And I'm thinking this is the norm because I'm scheduling it out based on scenes. But shooting a TV show for 30 days is exhausting, especially reality TV with mainly women. It's exhausting and it'll burn you out. So once I got more experience, I scaled that way back to 7 days is all I need. 7 days is the perfect amount of days to shoot these type of shows and get the content and not be burnt out. Because on that 6-7 day, you're like, I'm ready to go. We good. Anything past that will burn you out. And I did the same thing in LA. I did 30 days and it was the same process. It just burns you out. It's too much shooting. But just being around all of these types of women, that shit it's exhausting. Not them personally, because they all are amazing women and they got great personalities, but just women in general. You're dealing with so many different personalities day to day. They got all their problems, like all kind of personal problems that they bring to you. So, and you got to listen, you got to be there to help and handle certain things because, they're filming with you a lot of the day. So you kind of got to step in and help them out where they need to, especially since they're not getting paid and they're giving you their time. So you want to be, you know what I'm saying? You want to be in that space where you're trying to make sure that they're good.
How did you merge LA in?
From the jump, the plan was for it to have spinoffs in different cities, and LA was one of the cities. It was supposed to be Charlotte. We were going to go New York, LA, some other city. I can't remember which one. And then we were even talking about doing going out the country and doing like Brazil or something like that. So LA was just the next step. And that was the next one we did. You know what I'm saying? So once I got the call and they wanted to do it, that's from there I just started casting and we went and shot that.
Who had the most authentic drama between the LA cast and the Charlotte cast?
Authentic drama. I probably say I think they neck and neck. It's like a mixture of two. I won't say like one is more dramatic than the other. They kind of on the same level.
Yeah. Twan was that dude on the show, huh?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Twan is a character. And Twan was one of the ones that really took the show and kept it moving and built his brand off of it.
So he actually capitalized on it.
Yes, 1,000%. Because soon as from season 1 all the way to 2, 3, he was there and making sure that he was carrying the brand wherever he went. He was constantly promoting that brand and using it to help build his brand. Which which I expected all the girls to do. And even like LA, a lot of them girls did the same thing. When we wrapped up and the show came out, they used it and continued to set up interviews and do press and use it as a piece to get in certain rooms and to help build a brand. What you're supposed to do. This is the smart thing to do. That's the whole point of getting on reality shows is to use it to help build your brand and whatever it is you're trying to do.
How real was that relationship with Twan and African Doll? Was it just on the show, or they had a real relationship outside the show, if you know her? Because Mimi made it seem like it was a real relationship.
It was real, but it wasn't. They didn't have a lot of time in, but it was real. It was a real relationship. It just wasn't. They didn't have a ton of time in. You know what I'm saying? But what you see is real. That's a real thing. The girl that in season 2 that came in, Twan's fiance, when she came in, now that they had time in, that was real. But him and African Doll they spent some time together, but not as long as him and what the hell was her name? E Rose. Yeah.
But how messy did it get though, from like LA, Charlotte, as far as like, the women and actually fucking around with the dudes? Like, did anybody ever like fuck around on the show?
Hell yeah. LA was crazy. LA was something different. And I was getting a lot of flack from some of the girls in Charlotte because they were mad that when they saw LA, but I didn't understand it. I said, I got a phone call from a network who wanted to partner up and do LA. And I still incorporate some of the girls from Charlotte and brought them to LA, but they was upset about it. And I'm just like, I'm trying to get this one out, and then we're going to talk about doing season 3, but we just never got to it. But it was definitely a lot of shit going on in LA.
Yeah, crazy shit.
Crazy shit.
That's crazy. Now let's kind of take a break on that. Let's go to. I do want to mention First Day Out. I did not know you was behind that film. Mm-hmm. You cast a lot of people that I know in that film. You had TB Too Funny was in there. DJ Chuck T was in there. Was Myron Jules in there? Yeah, Myron Jules was in there. You had Anthony Hamilton. How did that come about with the film?
First Day Out was a movie that I had in my phone for a couple years. And it was like, initially I had planned on, it was supposed to be Jason Mitchell and Jackie Long was going to play the main 2 characters. But at the time I didn't have the budget, so I was just like, I want to shoot this movie. Let me just shoot it here and just use my resources and make it happen. So from there I just casted everybody. I hit everybody up, used all my resources, and they showed up, and we made it happen. It wasn't the best it wasn't what I wanted because of who I had hired to come shoot it. And there was a lot of problems with that movie. That's why it took so long to come out, because they lost so much audio and I had to scrap a lot of scenes. There's like 3 scenes that were in that movie that people didn't get to see because they lost audio, and we couldn't go into the studio and match it up with the ADR because it was just gone. So I had to scrap it. And that's why it took 3 years for it to come out. From that to just trying to fix it, it just became a fixing job. You know what I'm saying? Because it was just so bad. But once it came out, people responded to it and they liked it. It wasn't my favorite as far as like the quality. I love the story, right? The story, the characters, super funny. I just didn't like the quality I got from the guys that I hired to do it, on both ends, on the edit and on the shooting. But I love the cast was amazing. Everybody did their thing.
How long does it actually take for a film like that to come out? And also, you like you said, you hired people in to come shoot the film. But what about writers? Do you hire writers too, to write the story?
I hire writers.
Yeah. How long did that take though for an actual film?
It just depends. Typically, I can have one of my writers get me a script done in like 2 weeks. It just depends on how much of the story I send them. So for me, if I don't write the script, I'll write the entire story, like beginning, middle, and end, and I'll send that to them and all right, here's what you need to create it. You fill in the blanks, and they'll send me like a rough draft, and then I'll make changes, and then that's pretty much the process. Because I wrote the script for Next Day Out. I had already wrote that after we shot First Day Out, so I have that too, and I turned it into like a Christmas movie. It's super funny. Once I get the money, then we're gonna shoot that one. That one is gonna be crazy.
So that one hasn't came out yet.
No, I just got the script. I got the script in the same cast, and I got to cast a few new people. But overall, it's a continuation of what happened in First Day Out, going into part 2. A lot of the same characters. I'm just adding a few new faces.
Yeah, you being a film director, man, that's kind of dope. And how you merged, transition from being, in the music industry, and you went right into the entertainment industry. What have you learned about money?
Money?
Yeah.
Money is the most important thing in this business. That's what I learned. Like, you can't do nothing without money. And it's just constantly coming and going. But like in this business, it's all about finding the proper funding, and who you get the money from is important too. Because I think that's the most important thing. Because you can find people with money, but all money ain't good money, and sometimes it can be a headache when you get funding from certain people. But that's the hardest part about this, is just getting the funding. Once you get that, everything else is easy. You can just be creative. Yeah. But the money is the most important thing, because that's what gives you the freedom to do what you want to do and the time you need to do it. The budget, without the budget, it's just it's a headache trying to shoot a movie without any money. Then I'm just relying on my resources. But I haven't had a big budget on a movie yet, like how I would want. But I've had big budgets on TV shows. You know what I'm saying? Like I shot Coming Up Miami. That was a big budget. Even The Side Chicks of LA was a big budget. So I'm definitely working on getting a bigger budget for the next movie.
I do kind of want to let me double back, because I didn't mention this for season 2 on The Side Chicks. Do you remember Kat being on the show?
Yeah. How
did she get on the show?
Kat came on the show because that's Storm. She's with Storm. That was her friend. So we casted her because, that's Storm's friend.
Yeah.
So that's how she got on the show. She was, even her first scene is the one you seen where she got smacked by Shador.
That's crazy.
That was her first scene. We came in with Jack Thriller to do the little party and bullshit segment, and it just went left.
Went left from there.
That was like not a part of it. If you noticed, like none of that was on camera. That was cell phone footage, because it happened after we stopped rolling.
Wow. Well, shit, that was a warm welcome for her then.
Yeah.
To get on the show.
Yeah, it was. She didn't know what was going on. She was looking at me like, I was like, I don't know. I don't know either.
Yeah. You got something brewing, man. This is one of your latest films. Saturday. Mm-hmm. Trying to make it to Monday. Talk to me about that.
Saturday is kind of like, it's like a spinoff of Friday, but it's Saturday. It's about two friends who lose their jobs, and they pretty much spend the entire day trying to find another job. And in this time frame, all kind of stuff is happening. Like anything you can think of is happening in this time frame. So it's like a one big long day of nonstop drama for these two cats. And their main thing is just trying to find a job. But in trying to find that job, so many things happen before they actually find a job. And then when they do find a job, even more shit starts happening and keeps happening to the entire day. But it's a dope, funny movie. Got Ryan with the Sauce playing one of the leads. Of course, Numero 3, he's playing the other lead. I got a lot of people in there. No Limit, he's in it. Chewy came through. I got Cortez, he's in it. I got a few faces in there.
Storm is in there too, right?
Storm, she played a detective. She did her thing.
Yeah.
Because she been bugging me for years, like, Pitrelli, put me in a movie. I'm like, I got you. And I always forget. Like I shot like 2 other movies, and she was like, what's up? So I finally put her in this one, and she played a detective. She did her thing.
Yeah, like what would you want to say about that for people who think that you forget them? You just be busy, man. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I don't forget nobody. I'm the main one that put a lot of people in position. Like, I've given a lot of people a lot of chances, first-time actors, and even on TV. It's like, I don't forget about nobody. I just, in the moment, just be working. There's so much going on. I'll forget. You know what I'm saying? It's like I didn't forget about you. I just didn't remember that we had this conversation because there's so much going on. Now, if I was in the process of casting and she hit me on any other project, I would have put her in it. That's how this happened. Like, I'm in the process of casting for this movie. She immediately DM'd me like, "Oh, don't forget," because I think I posted something. And I was like, "Oh shit, I got you."
Right.
Send me an email. Sent her the script, told her the character, and the rest was history.
Yeah. What else you got? What else you got brewing? What you working on besides the film Saturday?
I got 2 other movies that I'm trying to shoot now. Well, I'm trying to get the funding for. It's 2 comedies. I just finished the trailer for Suffocated 3 starring Blue Kimball, which is gonna be crazy. That was directed by Money Mark, my man Mark Buddington in Atlanta. Dope film. I gotta do the trailer for The Prenup. The Prenup is starring Blue Kimball as well. Crazy drama thriller.